Hey guys, we're back with the Player's Handbook. I know we said we were gonna do classes next. We're actually gonna jump back to touch on a few just general things we didn't really talk about. We want to talk about basis of how proficiency works in this game, how setting up a character works, that kind of stuff. So, typical Dungeons and Dragons fashion, you can roll for your stats. The book says 46, drop the lowest. They also give you the options for point buy and standard array, which is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And a lot of other times point buy and things like that were suggested as an alternative option in something like a Dungeon Master's Guide or an Unearthed Arcana, and now it's all built in. And funny enough, Adventure League requires either point buy or standard array. They don't allow you to roll. So that's sort of, I guess, pretty much the basis of just rolling and building your stats. And
well, one of the things that they added in this is stats max hard cut at 20.
20, yeah.
Unless...
Very rare.
Very rarely, unless you get a super cool magic item or you're a level 20 barbarian,
yep.
None of your stats can ever go above 20.
Yeah, and it's very different from previous editions because I feel like it puts more emphasis on your ways to build up your ability scores, because you're maxed at 20, and if you can start with something like a 17 or a 16 in a stat, you're just shy of getting to that 20, and that's like the pinnacle of adventuring. Yeah. So, but on the other side of that, because 20 is the max, having like a 14 or a 16 in a stat is pretty solid.
That's not bad.
You can get through most low-level adventuring stuff with a 14 or a 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that 18 at level 4 might be really big for you and might make your game a lot easier, but it allows you to have a little more freedom in how you divvy up your stats. Other than that, I guess the ability score numbers are pretty much exactly the same. 10, 11 is 0, and then it kind of goes up 1 for every even number, and then -1 for every one below that. You can't go below 8 as far as standard array or point buy goes. They don't actually have, in previous editions, I think they had a kind of fail-safe for rolling. If you rolled below a certain number, like overall, like if your total stats didn't equal up to this amount, then just roll them all over again. They don't actually have that fail-safe in this edition. So that's pretty much on your DM or you to either say, you know what, I'm going to literally roll the dice and see how I do, or you know what, I'll just take the standard array or the point buy and I'll deal with it. But again, if you do roll and you roll an 18, you're going to be way more powerful than potentially somebody else who just took the standard array.
True.
So, the randomness of role-playing.
And proficiency bonus.
Yeah, we can again talk a little bit about this too when we get to classes and combat and things like that. But essentially, the core of the system is based on ability modifier plus proficiency bonus plus roll equals X. That's pretty much everything in the game. And it's nice and simple for new players. If you're proficient with something, you add your proficiency bonus. If you're not, you don't. I mean, I don't think it can get any simpler than that.
Crushed it.
Right. So it's, you want to do an acrobatic save, or acrobatics check, whichever, it's dexterity. If you're proficient in acrobatics, it's plus your proficiency bonus, and then you roll, and that's your number.
And your proficiency bonus is a number based on your character's level. They all go up at the same rate. It's right there in the book.
Yep. It's the same for every...
There's no math.
Yeah, it's the same for every class. You multi-class into every separate class. Your proficiency bonus is still going to go up to 5 at level 13 or whatever it is. So it's simple, and it should make, for people that were put off by Dungeons and Dragons due to the math of it and having to sit there and look at all these numbers, that's a pretty good rule of thumb, is run through that check. If the DM says, make me this check, you say, oh, is that a dex save? Okay. Dex, am I proficient? Yes. Add this number. Roll. If I'm not, just the dex, and then roll. Pretty simple stuff.
Yep.
Alright, so now for real, we're going to go to classes.
Totally. Kapowie! How was Kapowie?